I like that. Don't get me wrong, but I mean something as serious as the world title there. I don't think I would have involved Travis Scott. I think I would have maybe come up with another finish there or something where maybe Cody's, slipped, as we said back in the day, slipped on the banana peel.
Becky Lynch returned at WrestleMania, Teddy, became the women's tag team champion with Lyra Valkyria, who Becky turned on the following Raw after WrestleMania one night later. Your thoughts on Becky Lynch back in WWE?
Well, congratulations to Becky Lynch. She's always been a great competitor. I've watched her work in the ring. She does a great job in there. And then I like what they did. They had the celebration, and then the next night, they crashed the party. So that's great. That's how you get good heat. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, I was happy to see Becky back. I think that was one of the better matches, actually, on WrestleMania weekend was that match that she was involved in. So it's good to see her back. John Cena. Here you go, Teddy. John Cena became the 17-time world champion, beating Ric Flair's record of 16. He did have some help, though, from Travis Scott. Your thoughts?
Well, I don't really know what to say about that. You know what I mean? To involve Travis Scott in it, I like that. Don't get me wrong, but I mean something as serious as the world title there. I don't think I would have involved Travis Scott. I think I would have maybe come up with another finish there or something where maybe Cody's, slipped, as we said back in the day, slipped on the banana peel. Boom, Cena takes advantage of it, 1, 2, 3. Because I don't see what a Travis Scott meant anything. I mean, I saw after the end, Cody gave him his finish and all that, but so what? Travis is not a full-time employee. People are not watching him wrestle every week on TV. So I don't see where it helped anybody.
Do you think that The Rock should have been at WrestleMania? Or let me ask you this. Do you believe that fans expected to see The Rock at WrestleMania?
Well, yeah, I think they did because he was involved in so many of the promos and things that led up to these matches at WrestleMania. Now, if anybody would have been involved in that screw-up job, that's who I would have liked to see would be The Rock, not Travis Scott.
Yeah, it would have made more sense. Now, as of today, Teddy-O, as we're recording this, just earlier, he was on the Pat McAfee show. I have not had a chance to listen to his response, but I've seen a couple of headlines saying basically he was trying to make an excuse for why he wasn't there. The fact is he was at his house watching WrestleMania from home. I don't understand that, and I'll go back to the fact that this WrestleMania felt lacking somewhere, and it must have been the disconnection of The Rock. I think at some point, he just eventually said, you know what? I'm not going to be a part of this. Let these two guys have this match and I'll stay in the background. I'm not sure that made a whole lot of sense. I expected to see The Rock.
Well, I don't think he made that call. That's not his call anyway. So I don't think he made that decision. That decision probably came through Hunter and creative. So we like I said, I don't want to count that out. I think that was done maybe for a reason, and I think as we head now into SummerSlam, I think you're going to see him be more involved, and maybe there may be a change, with Cena. And I don't know whether there's a rematch with him and Cody or not. I didn't hear it. I think his first rematch is with somebody else, right?
Yeah, in fact, we'll talk about it. Well, we can talk about it right now. The night after WrestleMania, he shows up on Monday Night Raw, and he gets RKO'd by Randy Orton.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to remember that, because I don't have the Netflix. So, but yeah, well, Randy would certainly be the guy, that could stand up to him. You know what I mean? I mean, where they would have good matches together. So, I just don't know. I thought at least Cody would get a chance for a rematch. So, like I said.
Or somebody else that's younger on the roster. That's one thing. I'm not sure that crossing two of the older guard in WWE, because, Cena needs to be facing these younger guys, not the older vets that he's had matches with time and time again. He needs to be putting these young guys over. Don't you think?
Well, yeah. Well, that's what everybody's job is to anyway. Once you, the way that they run business, once you reach a certain age in life, they feel that you can't draw any more money. So they feel like, you put the young guys over and leave them strong. And I don't see nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Leave a guy strong, you know what I mean? So he can, become somebody. So, like I said, I don't know.
Well, let me ask you, do you know who Joe Hendry is?
I met him. I saw him in
WrestleCon?
Indianapolis. No, I saw
Okay.
him at Royal Rumble.
Joe Hendry, he ended up with the surprise match against Randy Orton. And now, for those of you who don't know, Joe Hendry is the heavyweight champion for TNA. So it was champion versus champion, basically. I mean, well, one of the former champion in WWE of Randy Orton. I didn't see where that helped TNA in any way because he was made to look small, made to look weak by the end of that match. And I don't know what TNA got out of that. You know, I know people will say, well, they got a rub because everybody's talking about TNA. Well, you made TNA's champion look like a chump. Is that something? I mean, that's just bad, Teddy. I don't understand that booking.
You keep taking this too serious.
I'm taking it from a business standpoint. If I'm in TNA and I own that company, I'm not crazy about how they made my champion look in the ring. Can you imagine Ric Flair going somewhere during the NWA days and made to look like a complete jobber?
Well, Ric Flair wouldn't do that. Ric Flair, back in the day, Ric Flair understood the position of the world heavyweight champion. The promoters understood that position. The bookers, everybody, they knew. So they knew when the world champion went out, there wasn't going to be no bad match at all. And I'll tell you, the perfect example of that is one night, I forget where we were, but it was Kofi Kingston and I believe Seth Rollins was in the ring. Well, they was having such a bad match, so Vince couldn't take it no more. So he got up out of his chair and he walked down to the ring, we were taping, went down to the ring and made them both get out of the ring because that's how bad the match was. Wow. He took them back up to Gorilla. He ringed them out again up there, and then he made them go back out there and do it all over again. Told them get out there now and get it right. So you know what I mean? That's what you got to look at too.
Let's talk about another match at WrestleMania. Io Sky, she beat Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair to maintain her women's championship. But the thing that came out of this, Teddy, was number one, this match with Io Sky, Bianca, and Rhea, great match. I enjoyed that match. I really did. But Kevin Nash made a comment saying that Io Sky, who was the champion and won, saying she's unbelievable because of her size. Any comments, thoughts about that, Teddy?
Well, you know, I kind of have to agree with Kevin too. You know what I mean? Sometimes when you do something with a person and you give them all this glory, you know what I mean? They have to, look like they, deserved it or look like they really want it. So I understand what Kevin is saying. You know, that's like a big man. You know what I mean? A big 300-pound guy standing in the middle of the ring. Here comes another 100-pound guy, give him a clothesline, and he goes down, takes a bump on it.
Yep.
So, that ain't believable. So
But you did have Big Show and Rey Mysterio that would face each other.
Well, yeah, you did have that, but they knew how to work.
There you go.
Okay, they knew how to make you believe it. The young talent they got now, don't get me wrong, some of them are real good in the ring, but some of them still need a lot of work.
One of the things that I do not like in women's wrestling, and I think women's wrestling's come a long way since I first started watching. But one of the things that they do is they do a lot of acrobats, the backflips and the cartwheels and stuff. In a real fight, Teddy, have you ever run up on somebody in a cartwheel to beat them up?
No. And that wouldn't happen in a real fight. So that's what I got to get you to understand. This is entertainment. So when you're looking at the matches, you're going to see a little bit of wrestling, but you're also going to have that entertainment part of it too.
I want believability to go with it, though. And sometimes I'm thinking, I love like Joe.
If you had two guys in the ring or two people in the ring that really knew how to work, two tough guys, then they would give you that believable, even though it is, entertainment. So it's just according to who it is.
Tiffany Stratton, she was up against Charlotte at WrestleMania, and Tiffany Stratton kept her title by beating Charlotte Flair. But I expected that match, Teddy, as much as they had bad blood going into this, to get really physical and not so much chain wrestling and stuff. They didn't take that route. I felt like that's what killed that match. I wanted, that was the match I wanted to see the most. I think I even told you that before WrestleMania. That's what I was waiting for. But I got what almost the same feeling I got when Sammy and Kevin Owens went up against each other. It wasn't physical enough for the build that they had. Is that? I mean, can you imagine going back in the NWA days when you had Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes in a cage, and they just went in and did a wrestling match. It was nothing special, and
they don't. I keep on,
but it's still entertainment's entertainment. You've got to maintain the viewer.
But but the people back then that were calling those matches and telling the people what to do and they're not there anymore. They're not around. Some of them are and some of them are not. So that's what I'm trying to tell you now. There's so much that they've taken away from old school, from what got us to the dance. They've just demolished so much of that.
And not for the good either, Teddy, because I mean, even this is getting and boy, I got to get back on track in a minute here, but I will say this. One of the things I first noticed about WrestleMania this weekend was normally in the past, your champion would always come out second. You'd have the contender, then you'd have the champion come out. That was not the case this past weekend. More times than I can tell you, the champion was first, and then, the contender comes out afterward. I don't understand. See, those are the little changes like that I don't understand. Other than it's meant for TV, and that's it. It's just meant for views.
You never will understand it. I'm telling you. And I understand where you're coming from, because sometimes I see something, it just gives me, I'm like, are you kidding me? You know what I'm like, I can't believe, you know what I mean? So, but I do come back to my senses. I'm like, okay, well, this is what it is now. You know what I mean? So, you go with the flow.
Another return to WWE was somebody that I think we all knew was coming back, and that was Rusev. He didn't have Lana by his side, but Rusev has come back. He came back on the recent Monday Night Raw. That's good news for WWE, Teddy.
Well, yeah, I like him. I've always liked him. He was always a good heel. To me, he's certainly done his job. So hopefully this time, things will be better for him, and they can really use him like he's supposed to be used.
I never could understand why he didn't get farther along than he did. I thought that at the time that he and Lana were together and they had that combo going out, she was kind of that Russian lady, kind of like from the old Rocky movie. I thought it was perfect. But now they hired him back, but she didn't get hired back except for a Legends deal. That's all she has. She's not on a full contract. She's just on a Legends deal. So I don't know. I guess maybe she's not going to be back on TV, but I still think that that's the package they need to present back on TV again. Yeah. Jey Uso beat Gunther at WrestleMania. I think we saw that coming. We were hoping that was going to happen. Let me ask you, though, did you get a chance to see him on Monday night when he was saying thank you for the fans and everybody else?
No, I didn't get a chance to see that.
Here's the problem that Jay's going to have as a champion, I'm afraid. He's not strong on the microphone. He is so fun to watch, and he's got this energy you love. But he holds the microphone up and he goes to talk, and then he puts it down because he doesn't know what to say. Then he'll hold it back up and he still doesn't know what to say. And it goes on forever. It's like he can't pull himself together to give a straight promo because he's so emotional about things. I understand emotion taking place, and we talked about this on another promo that he had done in the past. The problem is when it comes to TV, you start getting lost. You're like, oh, are you going to say anything? Hello? Because the fans aren't doing anything. You're just sitting there with a microphone and it's quiet. You got to fill that time.
Yeah, well, like you say, I like it because it's real. That's him.
I like that. But the problem is, can he be that quiet as a champion and be successful?
Well, everybody has their own way. Okay, so I'm saying he may be a promo guy that can get away with that, and not so much to get away with it, but that's just him. So eventually the fans will understand that that's him, and they'll accept that because they like him. They're glad that he won the title and everything. So I like it. I mean, instead of just the old straight promos all the time where, just relax. You know what I mean? And be yourself. And I think those are the best promos is when you're being real.
Let's talk about one of the most shocking things that came out of WrestleMania. I'll say shocking. Some people saw it coming a mile away. The wise man, Paul Heyman, screwed CM Punk and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and he aligned himself with Seth Rollins. Were you surprised by this hookup with Seth Rollins out of nowhere?
No, because that's what Paul Heyman does. He's a genius at that kind of stuff. Okay, so that didn't surprise me at all. That Paul can sell you a water fountain. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it was funny because he got behind on WrestleMania. He got behind CM Punk and he crotched him. And that was it for CM Punk. Then he got behind Roman Reigns, who you thought he had joined again, and he crotched Roman Reigns. Then on Monday night, he's out in the ring with Seth Rollins. And in the back of my mind, Teddy, I'm thinking, I would love to see him crotch Seth Rollins, and then find out Brock Lesnar was back.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been cool because I don't like him with Seth Rollins. At this point right now, that combination doesn't make sense because Seth can speak on a microphone. He doesn't need Paul Heyman.
That's not why they got them together. Not for Heyman's talk ability. They got them together because of Heyman's heat.
Real heat.
Yeah, real heat.
Real heat. Boy, I tell you what, I saw Paul Heyman too on an ESPN show. And man, he was roasting people left and right, saying things that were blowing my mind. And I'm thinking, Teddy, I'm going to find this interview for you. Actually, it was Pat McAfee. Pull up Pat McAfee and Paul Heyman's interview. Man, he goes at that crowd saying things that you couldn't say on TV, and he was laying into them. And in my creative head, I'm thinking, man, this is what Monday Night Raw should be. This is the kind of trash talk I want to hear. This makes me buy what he's selling because there were no chains on him during this interview, and man, he let loose. And for those of you who don't like Paul Heyman, there's plenty of people who don't. When it comes to a microphone and delivering a promo, I don't know if there's anybody better. I really don't. I just don't. Teddy, anything coming up for you this soon that we need to talk about?
This weekend, Friday, Saturday, I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana for a big wrestling con there. I think we're at the Crown Plaza Hotel. I believe that's where it is. I could be wrong. All I know is Indianapolis, Indiana, wrestling. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'll see you there Friday and Saturday.
And Teddy will always be on time for his signings and stuff like that. You don't have to worry about waiting an hour or two for somebody to show up. Teddy will always be there.
Yeah, well, I got to be there.
Absolutely. And by the way, you can catch Teddy as well coming up in May 16th and 17th at the SICW Fan Fest 3, where Teddy will be going into the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame with the Lifetime Achievement Award. Teddy, I'm looking forward to that, and that's going to be a fun weekend. That's when Bill Apter will be back with us again. Actually, he might be back next week. But
Bill who?
The guy that was singing last week, and he got disconnected and never could find the plug to plug it back in, I guess.
Oh, that's the guy that I cut his brake line.
That's the guy.